In this video, we're going to be exploring the different ore types, locations, values, kind of uses. This is going to be focused mainly on standard ores. We're not going to be talking about moon ore or ice. Those kind of deserve their own kind of standalone video. But the idea is, after watching this video, you should have a good idea of what's available in each type of security in terms of ore, what ore is primarily used for, and kind of what is more valuable to go after if you're mining for ISK, and also what is kind of going to be a target if you're looking for a certain type of material. We're going to start at the top of the list here in Jita. So we're going to be looking at Arknor first. Arknor is going to be a nullsec ore. This is going to be very plentiful, right? These show up in non-indexed systems. They also just show up in a bunch of anomalies. The value is okay. You can see like the market is pretty flooded with these. These are an export. But more or less, these Arknor is really good for Mexilon and Pyrite. Pyrite being one of the major components here, but also a decent sort of megasite as well. And then there's also different variants. We're not going to really go through the different variant types. Each variant type of each type of ore will just increase in the amount of units for material that goes into it. So just for the sake of not having a very long video, we're going to go over the bases, the base ore. The next one is going to be Bezantine, Bez. So this is going to be available in Poshvin. You can see also the supply is pretty healthy as well. This is a very popular ore that comes out of Poshvin as well. And this is going to have a lot of trit in it, and it's also going to have a decent amount of isogen and a little bit of megasite. But not one of the ores I particularly go after when I'm in Poshvin, but is probably my second best to go after when we're over in Trig space. Bistot is going to be kind of like your sister ore to Arknor. A lot of anomalies in nullsec are going to have Bistot and Arknor in them. As you can tell, there's a healthy supply. This is going to be Pyrite, Mexilon, and your Zydrine. So when you mine Arknor and Bistot, you're going to be getting a lot of Pyrite and Mexilon. But if you want to focus down on Zydrine, then Bistot is going to be the way to go with that. Crocite is another one. This can be available actually in lowsec and also in nullsec, both in anomalies, index anomalies, and so you do a secondary or tertiary for a lot of the higher end indexed anomalies out there. Now, Crocite's going to be really good for Mexilon, but also really good for a Noxium source as well, and Pyrite. Moving on, let's go to Dark Ochre. Dark Ochre is one of those really nice ores for lowsec and nullsec now, actually. You can get this in some of the new anomalies. This is going to be a good source of isogen, Mexilon, and Noxium. Now, the volume is pretty high on this stuff, so you might not be able to get a ton in your mining trip, but if you're going for isogen and you see this on field, I usually prioritize this the best I can. It's a really good one. And then Ducinium, this is going to be one of the newer ores for the Emperor border sites, both on the null-sec side and on the high-sec side. The availability is not that great. It's probably not one of the ores that you're going to be really targeting when you go to Emperor border sites, especially in high-sec. High-sec, you're usually going to be going after the isogen stuff. But this is going to be your source of pure megasite there. And then also Ephedrium. Some of these I don't even know how to pronounce. And also a tertiary source of Zydrine, both in high sec and on the null sec side of Emperor border sites. These are going to be these two rocks are usually going to be the ones that are going to be left over in those sites after everything else is gone, and you just kind of grab it as you can. And then you have gneiss here. Pretty healthy supply here. There's going to be a low sec ore, but it's going to be isogen, Mexilon, and Pyrite. Usually, if you're going after isogen, you usually don't have to go and mine specifically for Pyrite, Mexilon. Really, you're going to be out there looking for Zydrine, Megasite, or isogen and those things. These other Pyrite, Mexilons are kind of bonuses because you get a lot of that from moon mining and everything else as secondary, or like I said, tertiary byproducts. But decent enough for isogen. So if you see those are pretty good for a low sec. Another one of the new null sec ores, Grimir. This one's going to be your trit and your isogen. I go after this quite a bit. It has a very low quantity of isogen in it, but if you're kind of going after, trit and isogen, it can be pretty decent. But also on the anomalies with Grimir are things like Crocite and things that are a little bit higher value that I usually get first. But still decent enough source in nullsec for that. Hadbergate, this is going to be a low sec ore. Pretty decent supply. It shows up in anomalies and things. Pyrite Noxium source here. And then we're going to kind of speed up a little bit. Hemorphite. Let's go over here. Another low sec ore. You can also find this in null sec now too. A good Noxium isogen source. So I don't usually do a lot of mining in low sec, but if you're going to go into low sec to do mining, try to get some of the more specialty ores, since your time might be limited before you get engaged. But if you do see this kind of stuff in null sec 2, it is generally going to be a better thing to put your lasers on than the new just standard ores for those new anomalies. Next up, this is going to be Hazarmine, and this is going to be one of the new ores in nullsec, and this is going to be your Zydrine source for nullsec, but also has a byproduct of isogen and trit. So when you find one of these anomalies, try to get this as well. This will be how you get your Zydrine in nullsec for the most part. You have Jaspit. Jaspit is a low sec ore. You see the quantity is the market's pretty healthy with it. It's going to be Mexilon and Noxium. I still just if you're going into low sec and stuff, and also this is available in wormhole space too, there's usually better stuff to kind of grab than this stuff. But Jaspit is one, you mine it basically just for the Noxium and stuff. The Mexilon is, not really a big concern there. But if you do see it, that'll be a good source of Noxium. Kernite is going to be also available in nullsec now with Grimir. But it's also a low sec ore as well. And it's going to be available on the belts and stuff, so it's going to be your main isogen source when you're going out and mining in low sec. When I go to Grimir anomalies, I'm trying to grab the Kernite, like the fiery Kernite first, because it has a higher yield of isogen there. So I've been mining a lot of that lately. And then you have Kixium. Kixium is going to be one of the new null sec ores as well. It's going to have Mexilon, Pyrite, and Trit in it. I really love this ore because instead of going after like Veldspar and Plague or something in nullsec, which you can, there's big anomalies for it. Finding Kixium belt and just grabbing this stuff is kind of like you're hitting all three of the major foundations for manufacturing. So I really do love the Kixium anomalies. Getting this stuff feels really efficient to me. Mercoxid, this is my big old friend right here. High value, right? Now it was nerfed a little bit, but it's still available in large quantities in nullsec. In most cases, you're going to have to take a combat ship with you to clear rats on the small, average, and the large anomalies for this. But Morphite is so amazingly profitable. It's used a lot in Tech 2 manufacturing. So normally I export this stuff in its Morphite form. I've had export shipments out with it. Just one of the highest valued ISK per M3 valued ores that are out there. So when you can, if you want to just go straight value for mining, Mercoxid is the way to go. Mordunium, and this is going to be another nullsec ore. It's new for Pyrite. It's basically specialized for Pyrite. Nothing really too special there. You see, there's not a whole lot of value or a lot of volume on Jita because most people just mine it and just leave it in play and just use it for manufacturing. And then Noxite, we actually did a video over the Noxite deposit recently. This is going to be your new nullsec source for Noxium. You also get some Pyrite and Trit out of there as well, so it's pretty valuable. Amber is also really good to go. This is going to be your a low sec and also is available in nullsec. It's the market is very healthy in terms of volume, but that's going to be another isogen value and Pyrite. So when I'm going after isogen, I'm looking for things like Kernite and Amber and all of those things Amber is really great. It usually shows up in very small quantities on the rocks, but I try to grab it up as I can. Moving into some of the more high sec ores, so you have Plague here. Everybody should be pretty familiar with this. Very good volume because people are just mining in high sec all the time. Trit and Mexilon right here, so nothing too surprising with that. And then you have Pyro. Pyro is also going to be a high sec ore, and that's going to be Mexilon Pyrite. no trit on that one. So not a horrible thing to grab. And then you have Rakavine. Rakavine is going to be a Poshvin ore. It's pretty decent if you can't find anything else. You got Isogen and Zydrine in it with a little bit of trit. Not bad. The volume is pretty high, but it's pretty decent. I used to love to mine Rakavine all the time. Scordite is going to be one of your lower value high sec ores, also available in null sec as well on the Veldspar deposits. But it's going to be your trit and your pyrite source for that one. Spudmane. Now Spudmane is in Poshvin now. It is just really, really nice. Very efficient if you're doing manufacturing. Go out there. It's got Isogen, it's got Noxium, it's got a Zydrine and Megasite with trit in it as well. I go out there, I try to grab it in Poshvin, I try to grab as much Spudmane as possible. It is just super high value. I really do love it. I can't recommend it enough. Talassonite, or potato ores like I like to call it, also in Poshvin, has your Noxium and your Megasite with some trit in it as well. Probably, like, if I had to like rank the Poshvin ores, I'd probably say Spudmane is number 1, Bezidine is number 2, Rakavine is number 3, and then probably Talassonite is probably number 4 if you really kind of had to prioritize everything. This Kernite is one of the new things for one of the events going on right now. That is just going into the Capsular Day stuff. Euganite, this is going to be a source of Megasite in nullsec, one of the new nullsec ores. Also has a secondary trit source in there as well. And then, of course, our big friend Veldspar. Veldspar is going to be your primary trit source, both available in high sec and in nullsec now. If you need, basically, if you need trit, you go after Veldspar, and most of the time you're going to be going after dense Veldspar or concentrated Veldspar, some of the higher ones in that. And then one of the last ores we're going to be talking about is Ytterbium, and this is going to be available on the Emperor border sites. This is what you're going to mainly be going after for Isogen. It's an Isogen source for the Emperor border sites on the high sec and null sec side. And whenever I do those sites, I try to go after this stuff first, and then everything else is kind of secondary to it. But if you're still stuck in high sec, Ytterbium is just Ytterbium is going to be really good. I always forget how to pronounce it, but it's I've actually done a lot of videos talking about this in high sec, and you have to kind of travel for it a little bit and look for it, but it's highly valuable. But that's pretty much it for all of the standard ores. Hopefully you guys get a better understanding and overview of everything that's kind of out there, and locations and values and material sources. Thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.